Nice, Kojo. I love that you're also asking them questions there. This is what the bout is about. I just made that up right now, guys. I didn't plan it, I swear. All right, Chris, go back to you. You spoke about the spotlight earlier, did you not?
Yeah.
So therefore, I want to ask you, do you think there are cultural limitations that hold back the Ghanaian creative from expressing their truest selves on the biggest stage?
Um, I, I mean, I think fundamentally, first of all, I think I've come to understand, having lived here for so long, that Ghanaians are naturally reserved as a people. They want to be in their corner and do their thing. They don't, as opposed to Nigerians or East Africans who will make the biggest noise about every single win. So I think that's the natural Ghanaian archetype. Now, does that hinder? I think it's depending on how you look at it, right? Reminds me of a campaign we did last year with Moet and Shandon and Aisha Christie Brown. Before that campaign and before we had to start shortlisting for that campaign, I hadn't really known who she was, if I'm being very honest. But again, her work was there. Her brand was probably the biggest fashion house out of Ghana. But I, as somebody working on the brand side, I hadn't really heard much about her, right? Could it be that the spotlight isn't there? Maybe, maybe not. It could also be that the saturation in the media is not as optimal as it should be. So are there cultural hindrances? I would say it's just naturally the Ghanaian archetype that maybe needs to evolve. Ghanaians need to start telling their stories more. They need to start being a bit vocal about every single win or every single project. I think Nigerians do it so well. I mean, you look at what they've done with Lagos Fashion Week and things like that, right? So I think Ghana needs to, or Ghanaians naturally need to start becoming the people that shout the most in every room. And then that way, the brands would notice even more. And from there on, it's a ripple effect.
Kojo, feels like you have some thoughts.
Of course I do. So I think that he has a point there. But I also believe that there are great brands that shout a lot. There are great brands that have put themselves out there and they're doing incredibly well. And brand managers or marketing managers cannot deny or cannot say that they've not experienced some of these brands. And sometimes brands, I'm talking about the brands that shout or the brands that have paid their dues, would approach brands, and brands, because they don't want to spend, would water down, would deliberately water down the influence or water down how big, in quote unquote, the brand is, just so they can spend less, on the brand. In other jurisdiction, and I know, and I'm happy, he is coming from Nigeria and he understands how it works in those jurisdictions. In Nigeria, if a brand is big, you can't deny it. The brand manager would acknowledge how big that brand is and would spend the amount of money that has to be spent on a brand or a big brand like that. I have dealt with a lot of marketing managers. I've been in a lot of deal rooms, quote unquote. I've been in a lot of negotiations because of the brand that I lead. And sometimes I leave some of these meetings very frustrated because some of our marketing managers don't deserve to be sitting in those seats. Because some of them they don't. Seriously, because these people are not exposed. They are afraid of money. They are simply afraid of money. I mean, sometimes when you quote certain amounts of money in your proposal,
Premium
it
budget.
sends shivers down their spine. And some of these monies are not much. I mean, compared to the brand that is asking, for that money, and the kind of benefits that the brand is going to enjoy if they spend that amount of money. So for me, I think that one of our biggest problems that brands have is who they get as their managers, their background, how exposed they are, their appetite. You know, it goes beyond talent. It goes even beyond education. Some of these people have been educated here, stayed here. They schooled in a Cropon and have stayed in the Cropon, and their world. They have just a very little, worldview of things, and they have very little appreciation of some of the. If you go to some of these sponsors and you say, I'm going to do this activation, and I'm going to do that, they just can't bring themselves to appreciate what you're trying to do, an amount of work, an amount of investment that will go into it. I'm going to use myself as an example, what I do at EMY Africa. I mean, EMY is arguably the biggest and most prestigious awards here in Ghana and even across Africa. Facts. And every year we have a lot of guests coming, flying in from Nigeria, flying in from South Africa, flying in from all across Africa and even around the world. And they are blown away by the level of production, the level of setup. When they come here, they are in disbelief that this is Ghana. And I'm going to reiterate it again because I said it on the EMY stage. I mean, we clocked our 10-year anniversary. We deserve a clap. 10 years for EMY Africa. It's not been easy having to go through all the challenges we go through as creatives to build brands. And they come here and they are very surprised at what we've been able to do here, the kind of sets, the kind of production that we have here. And I've had conversations with some of these people, and sometimes they are like, hey, like when I look at your events, this is the kind of sponsorship I think you got. And I'm like, this is what you think we got. But because we also don't want to sell ourselves short, I also agree that sometimes I even have to quote that we even got more. But it's very disheartening because some of the creatives are doing good work, are doing quality work. And we believe that the brands need to support this good work. And it's not even that some of these brands don't have money. Sometimes the marketing managers, because of their KPIs, because they are afraid of KPIs, would want to spend less. Or sometimes when some of these international brands come in, and because they know the culture, they understand how much it costs to invest in production, or how much it costs to invest in marketing. They have an idea. They have an idea that they have to spend this amount of money. But when they come in here, our marketing managers, who are some of them, I'm not saying every marketing manager, some of them are great. I work with a lot of marketing managers, some of them are great. But most of them, because they don't want to do a lot of work, some of them because they don't have the capacity to manage big budgets, they would argue that this amount of money you're giving this person is too much. How are we spending this amount of money? Cutting ourselves short. So I believe that some creatives, including myself, we are doing incredible work. Black Volta is doing great work. Look at the Entertainment Week. This idea is incredible. It's beautiful.
Incredible.
And we'll need brands to put a lot of money behind. What is the fear? Sometimes I just want to understand that. What is the fear? Why don't you want to put in money?
Chris, I think you want to say
So
something.
I'm just throwing the question back, especially established brands like Afrofuture, right? Afrofuture, EMY, Africa. There are a lot of brands.
Brands right here. Yeah.
Guba and all that. Why are you not giving us money? Our counterparts in Nigeria are getting so much money.
Okay. Perfectly said.
Well, this is
Thank
about.
What's the fear?
I think
Before we get there, I just want to ask Kojo very quickly. I think everyone wants to know, what did Ekropong do to you?
No, it just came to mind.
Yeah, I know.
I think I was in a Cropon 2 days ago, so it just came to mind.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
I think it's very important to put context to these things, right? First things first. I will start with it'll be threefold. First fold, I'll start with the business. Above all else, right? We are a business first. And a business is in business just to be profitable, right? And that profitability or the volumes that we're getting on a yearly basis determine what budgets we're able to have available to spend in a market. We are spirits and wines. I'll give you an example. In Ghana, 70% of alcohol sales are beer. And I'm sure you can keep me honest with that, right? Spirits represent 16% of annual alcohol consumption in the market. If I was to quantify that in Ghana cedis, you're probably looking at, 50 million, 60 million Ghana cedis shared between Hennessy, Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker, Singleton, Don Julio. It's a very saturated market as well. So I'm getting somewhere. So when you look at that, my bosses and executives sitting in Paris look at what Ghana is doing are 70, 80,000 liters a year compared to what Nigeria is doing, millions of liters a year. I mean, as an investor and as a businessman, Kojo, you would know where to put your money, right?
So
that's the first one.
it's just you would continue.
That's the
I'm
first
just
one.
asking that percentage
Right.
of consumption,
Right.
of beer versus spirits.
Right.
You would want that to go up, right? You'd want to change it.
So the truth about
It has to be an action.
the truth about it is that even when you're making changes that are risk worthy, right? You can't overly go and say, okay, you know what? I'm making 5 million euros or dollars from Ghana market. I'm going to take 15 million and invest because I wanted to get to. That's not. That doesn't make risk sense, right? So you're going to have to gradually grow it, which is why periodically we have the Maisons invest in big projects. Hennessy used to be a sponsor of Afrofuture for the first few years. We're doing all these elaborate stuff with the biggest channel where we're selling. Because again, at the end of the day, we need to sell to be able to generate these budgets to support the creative economy, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is I feel like sometimes it's a bit unfair and burdensome to ask a drink sponsor to take on the weight, 100% weight of your event. I'll give you an example. Formula One. Formula One, which is the biggest sporting platform, has 11 different sponsors: LVMH, Aramco, DHL, from all walks of industry. And they're able to find value for them, right? So DHL is getting its value, Moet is getting its value, Aramco is getting its value, and everybody is happy, right? Now, what happens in Ghana is, most creatives and event organizers, as the case might be, would send you a 500,000 CD budget and expect you to upweight all that for value that is not commensurate. It becomes a very difficult conversation. And as brand owners, we have been hired to discern critically what is the most important to the brand. Because as I said, at the end of the day, we're a business, we're not a development bank, or we're not, no offense, but we have to, as our jobs as brand owners to represent the interests of the brands, grow the brands, and in that way we can invest more into because at the end of the day, I come from an advertising background, you do, it even says on my LinkedIn bio, I believe creativity is the biggest tool to differentiate yourself as a brand. I have always championed
Chris,
Bliss.
it's about to.
We work very
It's
we
about
work
so
very
I can
closely.
hit you. When you hit me, I can hit you.
No, but hold on.
So
let,
my
let
thing
him
is,
finish his
he
hitting
doesn't
first.
have to finish before I can cut in.
Say again?
Because
No, wait,
it's
you
about.
let him finish his hitting first.
I just want to say
All
something.
right, okay.
So my thing is, how do you grow your brand if you are not willing to invest? So what I found is a lot of our brands want to reap where they've not sown. They like to invest very little and expect the world. I work with brands a lot. A brand will give you 2,000 cities and want to get 200,000 cities worth of benefits.
Kojo, to explain that, right? Maybe my brands might not be the most ideal because again, it's the biggest wine and spirit company, right? By consumption metrics, Kojo, you probably knew about Hennessy from before I was born or whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my brands might not be the best, but the marketing is top down, right? It has to be unified. That way, our consumers are able to differentiate. Okay, I'm going to choose a Hennessy over a Johnny Walker because of X, Y, Z, right? We invest in the right channels. We grow. I think people also just forget the marketing. There's also the distribution angle of the business, and that's also where your real growth is. If you stay only in Accra, without expanding to Kumasi and Takoradi, you're just going to be getting Accra volumes. You know, we also have to geographically expand as a business, and investment goes into that. Investment goes into marketing. Investment goes into getting the right talent and the right people, brand owners to work for the company. So it's all encompassing, and Abena can probably share some more info because we deal with this on a daily basis, right?
Abena, please go.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you're going to ask another question.
Oh, I still have another
we
question
should
for you. But
defend
if you want to dovetail
So-
on that first, go.
I'll just, Chris has spoken at length. I think the biggest thing is, as marketers, right, really, we do want to milk every opportunity we have. And it's the truth. Because the aim is to make sure we've gotten all the end benefits plus the paid benefits that we can do well. So I'm very certain, and we even have battles, I know we do, that reduce your branding. But the effort...
Thing is, this is very interesting because I've worked with
Yes.
both of them before, especially with Abena. And Abena and I have fought several times. And there are times when I've left the meeting room and I said, hey, I won't work with your brand anymore because you are asking for too much and you are going to give me very little. So
Yes.
we have a history right there.
So I'm just leaving it as learn from the brands and also go harder. Because when we come and the space is taking, there's not much for us to do.
But, Abena, I'd like to say, this advice of us going harder, we get it all the time. I work with a lot of brands. This year you go to a brand says, oh, we like what you're doing, we'd like to associate, we'll give you, let's say, it's just an example, I'll give you 200,000 cities. I'm partnering this year, they'll come on, they'll do everything because you want to build a good, strong relationship with them. Oh, let's do it, we'll do it. And then you allow them to brand yours everywhere. Next year, when you go, and I'm saying that as an event, you would have ticked all the boxes, you would have done everything that you promised the brand. Then next year, you go to the brand and they will tell you that, oh, we're sorry, we have to reduce the budget. And they reduce the budget to 100,000 cities. And meanwhile, as a brand, you need to grow bigger. Everybody expects you that year on, you have to be bigger, you have to create new experiences. How do you expect that brand to grow? Because you see, we need each other. As a brand, you can't exist on your own. As an event, as a creative, I can't exist on my own. So we need to find that middle ground where we all, uplift each other. We all have to, come to the table well. We need to come and
Actually, I want to ask Bliss something.
Sorry,
here.
just a quick one, sorry, Mika.
Right, after that, I'm going to ask Bliss something. Go
I
ahead.
think you're also one of the very few people who I've really enjoyed working with because you understand it a lot.
The way he's fighting you, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Still my brother. We'll still drink Lemorangi tonight, right? But Kojo is one of the very few people, and I can tell you there's a handful of Kojos in this market that understand it.
Yeah.
Kojo has taken his time to also, when you came to us last year, you came with the very intentionality that, look, Chris, out of your entire portfolio, Lemorangi is what I want because the brands align.
I know.
A lot of people don't do that homework. I can't use a chick brand like Moet to sponsor a rave party in Ekropong. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work.
Ekropong.
That's just what comes to mind. But do you understand? There's that homework that needs to be done to understand what the brand stands for. And sometimes the brands just don't align. And it's not like I don't want to support you. It just doesn't align. And even if you go up and come down, nothing is going to change.
Yeah, but my thing is, even when it aligns, you people are not giving us the right amount of... Listen, because my event is global, I interact with a lot of brands. I interact with a lot of people outside our borders. And I know how much money events that are not even close to the events that we do, the activations that we do, how much sponsorships those events get.
So
Actually, if you could hold on, I want to get Bliss' thoughts on that, because Bliss is also an MC. He's right front and center.
Let me preface again. I've worked with both of them done nice things for me. Chris and his team a couple of years ago. Okay, listen, I'm one of the few human beings in this creative industry or as an influencer who's gotten some benefits from these companies, some level of benefits. You know, Chris and his team fly me out business, they make me enjoy life. It's nice, yeah? But I still do not feel like I get my due with the kind of work I do for you. What's the actual constraint with paying personalities, influencers, and brands properly like they do deserve?
Wow.
In fact, I think what I have to ask here, what do you define as paying properly?
Well, I'll jump on Kojo's comparative discussion from other markets. We go, you know, Chris and I, Chris, the guys, we go on a group trip to a certain location, Dubai. There is an influencer from South Africa. There's one from Nigeria. There's one from Kenya. But you sitting there amongst your folks, you just know by the numbers that nothing's really happening on your side. What's going on?
Okay, I like that. And influencer, content creators, influencer marketing is one of my favorite parts. It's why, just like Bliss said, even without big numbers, I brought him on board. You said a very good point. You compared it to influencers in South Africa and in Nigeria and in the other markets. The truth is, you have to consider it by market. And unfortunately, when you look at the population, even from a population perspective, there's a difference, which means GDPs are different, which means the amount of spend and the amount of, and Chris rightly said, the volumes of sales are different. And beyond that, the East, they drink like they are mad. Ooh. The South are close to the East. They are brothers and sisters. The West, and especially Ghana, we are very conservative, right? So what it means is the volume of purchases of our products is very different, right? I could be selling, even on a price perspective, way higher than Nigeria, but their sheer volume will beat me any day. And with that, they get more investments for influencers. So their influencer range and price range is very different from Ghana. And it's also very different from South Africa. The biggest challenge I've had with content creators and influencers in Ghana is that once you've been exposed to a Nigerian brand and you got money from Nigeria and it was 3 times that of Ghana, all of a sudden you now begin to think that now when you come to us in Ghana, we should give you 6 times the amount. But it cannot work that way, and we have to become very real and honest about that, right? We have to look at things from a context. Chris rightly said context becomes extremely important. In Ghana, it's a different conversation. So you are even blessed if Chris connects you to the Bout team in France. Then they decide that, ooh, we love this guy. We want him. The pricing becomes very different. All of a sudden, the 1,000 cedis, that sign changes to $1. Then all of a sudden, you are getting 12,000 cedis, right? But not from Ghana. So all I would say here is we should look at things from a market perspective. We do have work to do in Ghana across board, right? But brands can, and like Kojo, you rightly said, we need you because you are redirecting and reshaping culture in Ghana. And we want to ensure that we are in that narrative and we are not lost. But to do that, we need to do that together, and we need to understand each other's situations properly. Will there be times where we will bully each other? Yes, because every year comes with its own challenges. We didn't know that 2025 we would have winter without snow in Ghana, right? Where we had to wear jackets for 3 months straight. And when that happened, alcohol consumption dropped. It dropped extremely significantly. I don't know how much Chris felt that impact, but for us where we are a total beverage, you see it, right? And it picked up after the weather. I can't say that to Kojo when we come to negotiate, because what it means is your budget for marketing automatically changes. So if I had promised him 400,000, with that weather in 3 months, things have to change. And so I come back saying, I'm sorry. it has to be 200,000, but you must sell 400,000. Why? Because I still have to catch up, right? So
Okay, then Abena,
it becomes tough, but it's about really having honest conversations and collaborating.
okay, then Abena, I think that's an amazing answer. I want to ask a question that I actually want you to respond to, Kojo.
Okay.
So, obviously, we're talking about this $10 billion economy. $10 billion already is a ridiculous number. It's ridiculous. Let's call it what it is. How much do you think there's a socioeconomic glass ceiling that is holding us back from possibly ever getting there if we really want to get there? So by that I mean population, the amount of spending money people have, and things of that nature. Please, Abena, Chris, and then Kojo, I'd love for you to go in on the answer. No, I want you to answer, and then for Kojo and Bliss, please pay attention.
So just to be sure I understand the question, how we are preventing ourselves based on
how much do you think the socioeconomic factors in Ghana
Yeah.
prevent the creative economy
from growing?
from actually getting to this
Yeah.
mythical
Yeah.
$10 billion mark, that we're speaking about? Because we're going from no numbers at all
Yeah.
to 10 billion. 10 billion is a lot.
It's very
Even in
ambitious. It's very ambitious, and actually, the creative economy plays a very big role, especially our social economic conditions. First off, our orientation as Ghanaians and how we perceive creative is one of the things that will hinder us, right? And so I like what the previous panel, I believe it was Abdul that said he would invest in education. How we are brought up to appreciate creative is very different. And it takes a certain class level to appreciate the efforts that all the creatives in this room are doing. So we are told photography, and on our picture. Already that sets a tone for an appreciation level of creativity. You want to do what? Nyompe na obeto. It's only singing you are going to do.
Ask you, hey,
You don't do anything else.
You don't do anything
right?
else.
Only singing. Is that all? So already there is a cultural nuance that already defeats that. I think it cuts it down by like 70% already, right? Because the upper class are a very small percentage of Ghana, and they are the ones that best appreciate creativity. Why will my son say he wants to go and paint? That is the thinking, right? And now you see him, and he's in global stages, and you're like, hold on, I didn't know. And now you become a proud mother all of a sudden. But that was not what your orientation was.
Yes.
So that cuts it by 70%. The rest of the 30%, I will call it around, I think I called it earlier, it's around creatives being proud and owning it proudly and learning, doing the research, doing the work, putting in the effort to really come across as professionals, right? And it's extremely important. And it's why you see the four of us here, we keep saying the same thing. One of the people that has really become, who is very determined and is very professional is Kojo. And just like Chris said, it was a walk in the park. Why? Because he knew exactly the kind of event he wanted to create. He was very clear who he wanted that event to speak to. And then said, these are the brands I want to work with. And then he built capacity to the stage where he could now present us with evidence to show that he can actually achieve that. A lot of people don't do that. They come with an idea, and it looks like it is all in their head, right? Work a little. Put in your investment. Kojo and I were talking earlier, and he said, look, Abena, it's an investment. Do you see yourself as a creative as an investment that you invest in, right? We don't. And so there's a lot of reorientation our creatives even need to begin to hit that 3 million to even get to 10. All right, and that's where I'll end it. I'll go back.
Kojo, that's an amazing answer. Kojo, if you
Sorry.
could give us, you have an answer, Chris? Give us 30 seconds, Kojo,
Yeah.
and then 30 seconds, and then we do a speed round because we have 5 minutes left, please.
Just to add, I'm happy you highlighted how much money $10 billion is.
It's a lot of money.
For context, Dangote refinery cost $15 billion. So we're trying to grow an economy, the cost of the biggest refinery in Africa that is producing 850,000 barrels of oil a day.
Only?
What value is a creator economy bringing that is commensurate to that? And Kojo, I think I have to give you your flowers and shout you out for what you've done. You've not only built it, you've built a team. Soraya is there. She's amazing. She's brilliant. Do you understand? And even like what Joey has built with Black Volta, there's the value, and that's the struggle we face every day. If you tell me to invest 200,000 CDs or whatever into what you're doing, from the get-go, I'm not seeing the value. I hardly see the value, and I'm being very honest here. There is little value coming out of the creative industry to brands, and that's just being straight and simple. We need more value coming out of it, right? And it's not just my logo on a flyer, or I don't know how to explain, but those are the metrics people try to justify your investment with. No, we're past that. You understand? Just a few of the things that we're doing that are amazing. Like, I mean, look at the collaboration we had with Christy Brown and Aisha, and I'm sure you were very part of it. That was immense value that transcended Ghana, that our executives in other parts of the world saw and were like, this is beautiful, right? So we need more value coming out of the creative, the economy. And that's how we can start to match up and the growth starts to happen. And that way we understand each other better and we work better together.
That's perfect. A round of applause. Guys, I'm so sorry, Kojo. Since we only have a short amount of time, I want us to do a speed round.
Okay.
So we're going to play a little game. It's called Creative Economy Tinder. Okay? I don't know if there's single people here, but don't worry, it's not that kind of Tinder. It is, so you're going to tell me swipe left or swipe right. I'm going to give you a scenario. Because Chris has given us some serious truth bombs, so we need to lighten the mood again. Since Chris said we cannot reach 10 billion, I don't know.
I didn't say we can reach it. It's very, very possible, but we're still far away off.
No, fair enough. Okay, so on the creative side, I'm going from you, Bliss. A brand pays you $50,000 to create a masterpiece, but you must remain anonymous, and they'll credit a global celebrity as the creative director. What are you doing? Swiping left, swiping right.
Left is no.
Yeah, left. Oh, you have Tinder now.
50,000 CDs?
No, dollars.
$50,000 to create.
So you create a masterpiece for them, but you have to remain
But be
anonymous.
quiet.
They'll credit a celebrity, an A-list celebrity, and say he did it.
Yeah, well, right now, I'll swipe right.
Okay.
Yeah, I need the money to invest. I'll swipe right.
Okay.
I'll swallow my pride and take it.
Okay. Kojo? Is it the same question? No, I'll give you another one. Fear not. An iconic global luxury brand wants you to design a collection for free in exchange for official co-branding and global PR. Are you swiping left or are you swiping right?
No. Let me hear the question again.
Okay. An iconic global luxury brand wants you to design a collection for free in exchange for official co-branding and global PR. Are you swiping left or are you swiping right?
For what I'm going to get for doing it for free, I'll do right. Because I'll take advantage of that global PR. And the next time they'll come and speak to me,
That's what he's
they'll
doing.
run
That's what
away.
he's doing to me now.
So do you think a lot of Ghanaian creatives aren't thinking that way? Give me 30 seconds on that really quick.
I mean, I have growing my brand, growing EMY Africa. I've done a lot of things for free, but it wasn't for free. I knew what I wanted. I knew the end game, and a lot of creators don't have a vision. They don't have any end game. So it's all how much will you pay me? Sometimes you have to do things for free. But the free thing you're doing is going to catapult you. So it's what's going to pivot you to the next level. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, I like that answer. Chris, swipe left or swipe right?
Sorry, I've not used Tinder before. Right?
Yeah, don't let me expose you here. Said he hasn't used the Tinder before. He likes Bumble. Okay, so I don't know what Bumble is though. Okay, so you guys are laughing. So a top tier creative, the A-list of the A-list, the best of the best, the ones that you've been, every time you're on Instagram, you like their stuff. Like you see, you want to work with this person, right? Guy or gal. They demand 100% upfront payment, and they refuse to provide a storyboard, just asking you to trust the process. My good man, are you swiping left or are you swiping right?
Quick left.
From the best of the best, quick left.
Well, well, honestly, someone like Kojo I would trust. Right? Again, is how much I've worked with them and the trust that I've built with them. Another issue in Ghana that I've also faced is accountability. Yes, I had to highlight that. Another issue with creatives is accountability. If you promise to deliver something confidently, and we invest 100%, and you don't deliver, nobody's going to come and beat you. Nobody's going to come and but be accountable. That's another big problem. So there's very few people that I trust to deliver. And if it's within those people, I would obviously take a bet on them and swipe right, but every other person left.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you'd only swipe right with prior experience working with that person.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to that. A lot of the times, creatives just look at the money they are being paid at the very moment. They are not looking at their brand. So if you're working with a brand, mind you the creative, you're also a brand. So whatever you've promised to do with that brand, there are thousands, millions of other brands looking at what you're doing. So if you want business continuity with that brand and also getting other businesses to come on board, you need to take yourself seriously. So as much money that you take
A round of applause for that, please. Let's get some applause for that.
Take
That's how
yourself
you build
seriously and
leverage.
take the brand you're working to seriously so that brand would want to come back again and you can get other brands to also want to work with you. At EMY Africa, I've worked with a lot of brands. I mean, we are at the stage or point where we're able to say no to other brands because of how serious we take ourselves. We take our brand serious. My brand is like everything to me. So as a brand, if you're coming on board, if you're not a serious brand and you're coming to work with EMY Africa, you feel inferior because our brand is so premium that you have to level up to work with us as a brand. So it's either you're coming hard or you're going home. Okay?
Fair
So
enough. Thank
as
you.
brands, you need to take yourself seriously. And taking yourself seriously means you are going to honor the work that you promised that you're going to do. And that is going to make way for you going forward.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, Abena. This is your swipe left. You've used Tinder before. You can confess. Sorry? You can confess you've used it. You guys on this stage are lying. Okay. So, a creator will only sign the contract if the contract states the brand executive has zero right to request edits once the content is filmed.
The contract states that we have 0 rights to edit.
Zero rights, but this is the best of the best creative.
No, I'm going to swipe left.
Talk to us on why.
In as much as, and we do give creative license, but remember that it's the brand that contracted you to do some work. And in doing that, the brand needs to ensure that in as much as you have creative license, it still speaks to the reason for which the brand contracted you to work. And that will require some edit in some cases. If there are times where it's a spot on, you are great. You have no issues. But there's no way that contract will come by saying, we do not have the right to edit. We will always say no to that.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Because there's also a consistency challenge that we face sometimes. He said accountability, the second is consistency. Today you're great, tomorrow you're great. The third time I come to you, you are in the bin, right? And in most cases, it makes us uncertain, right? So we need to make sure that our backs are covered. So I would willingly want to give you 100% right to do everything. And I've worked with quite a number of people here. I give creative licenses. I even challenge to even be more creative. But I am definitely never giving you full authority to not allow me to edit.
Fair enough. Thank you, Coach. I think you wanted to say something. This is the last thing anyone's saying on the panel.
So I'd like to add to what Abena said about the creative economy and how we are perceived. A lot of creatives don't take themselves seriously. They don't brand themselves well. They don't carry themselves well. And a lot of people are watching. I deal with a lot of businessmen because of the work I do. And when you talk to them about investing in the creative space, they don't want to do it because they see the creatives are non-serious people. It's because of how they carry themselves. Sometimes when the creatives are invited to an event, the way they would dress to that event, a businessman would not even want to be seen standing next to you or to speak to you. And sometimes when you invite creatives to come to events, they don't turn up.
They'll come late.
How are we having a creative event and we don't see all the creatives here? Where are they? Look at the number, the resource.
Round of applause
Look at
for
the
Black
resource
Volta too.
that have been on this stage today. The amount of knowledge you're going to leave here with. And when you invite them to events, they are not showing up. If ever we have absentees at EMY, it's always with the creatives. Meanwhile, really, we can actually do our event without them. But it's an opportunity for the creatives to meet with the business community. They will not show up. And we are always complaining that people are not investing in the creatives. We are not serious. That's simple.
Fair enough. I think that's please, guys, please give them a round of applause, please. All right, so obviously you guys didn't know this, but there have been some judges as the bout's been going on. There have been 3 judges. You guys know them. It's me, myself, and I. So I'm going to announce the winner right now. And the winner of this bout is, drumroll please, nobody, because in a competition like this, everyone wins. Guys, please give them a round of applause. I think they said so many great things today, and I think we're leaving with a lot of clarity. So please, thank you guys so much.
Guys, we can do it better for them. We can do it better for them. Thank you so much. This was an initiative that we kicked off with Entertainment Week Ghana, and I think we're going to continue it moving forward. I really like the idea of the bout. Thank you so much for all the brand managers that have been on this particular stage. Guys, so we move on. As we end, we are coming to the end of the event. Guys, I want to, if we could have our final event, not our final event, but our next event is on the 26th, which is the Atali Fashion Party.